Number one, he is going to be very high on the top 100 update. And of course he is. Nolan McLean. Talk about like the 270s. How often do we get to see like this is like reminding me of like G-Rod. It honestly just reminds me of G-Rod, where it's like, how many pitches am I going to give an above average grade to? The fastball is the biggest correction for me. And maybe I'm overcorrecting and we'll find out. But I think it's a 70 fastball grade because you've got two. You've got the four-seamer and you've got the sinker. From a 5-foot release height in the mid-90s, it's a very bizarre. It gets out sideways too. Low, sideways, and the four-seamer just seems to just surprise hitters at the top. And then the sinker really seems to surprise hitters. They're a mile per hour apart with about like 12, 13 inches of horizontal separation. Or vertical separation, excuse me. And then a few other extra inches of horizontal. And from looking from behind home plate, you cannot tell the difference out of the hand until it's too late. So those two fastballs, it reminds me of Michael King, where he can just go two different fastballs. Who else were we talking about that was doing that successfully at the end of the year?
Brian Wu, four-seam sinker.
Yeah, very similar too, where they can just go with the two fastballs and honestly hide some of their secondaries because they're going to go through the first time in the order with the two fastballs with the way that they can locate them. Ton of ground balls. What was it? 60% ground ball rate in the big leagues?
I think so.
But then, oh, by the way, this guy spins the baseball as well as anybody who has picked up a baseball on planet Earth right now. Like that, like there's almost, I don't know if I can't think of anybody that really recently coming up through the minor leagues, especially, is spinning the ball like him. His sweeper is the teeth on that pitch. I can't believe how hard it got hit in the big leagues. I think it's just bad luck. But the teeth on that pitch is crazy. Then you've got this two-plane sweeping curveball that averages like 3,300 RPM. That there's a scatter plot I have of every breaking ball in the league. And he is by himself in the bottom left corner, meaning it's just getting more horizontal and more vertical than any pitch. There's no one, he's just by himself on a scatter plot. And he's landing that pitch for a strike. He developed his splitter this year that is an above average pitch. His worst pitch is is his gyro slider. That was really good for him in the big leagues this year. But when you've got the 70 heater, a 60 sweeper, a 60 curveball, a 55 split, and a 50 slider, the last piece is the command, which took another step forward. If he can get to above average command, I think he's an ace. I don't think he's going to fully get there. I think it's going to be average command. And I think that's why he's going to be, a top 30 pitcher in the game and bordering on that territory.
I'm looking at just spin numbers right now. Qualified pitches. This is tough. Does McLean qualify here? No, Nolan McLean does not. But I mean, he's a spin machine. And the number of guys that like I talked to around the league that were making Nolan McLean must-watch television was unfathomable. He was the guy to watch for Major League Baseball players as soon as he debuted.
Pitchers looked at him like he's one of those where like I think the average fan appreciates him, but I think the average player like marbles on a different level. And
he was your favorite pitcher's favorite pitcher by the end of the year because he does something they could literally never do. And that's the reason why like Seth Lugo has so much love around the league.
Yeah.
People looked at Seth Lugo's curveball and said, I can't do that. So I'm enamored with watching it. People like players love watching Ohtani because they could never do it. They want to see something that they could never do. They can't even strive for. McLean plays blitzball while everybody else is playing baseball.
Yep.
And that is what makes an ace. That's what makes a top whatever prospect in baseball. Is it 10? Is it 5? Who knows? But like, I mean, this guy, there's so few holes to poke. And you mentioned the ground ball rate, 60% ground ball rate with about 10 Ks per nine, with an ERA in the low twos in 8 starts. He willed them into the conversation on the final day of the regular season. The Mets would have been out of it with a week to go if it wasn't for Nolan McLean. There were so many things that made you say, this guy has the makings of the next Matt Harvey, the next, maybe not DeGrom because DeGrom is like Hall of Famer, but the next frontline arm for the New York Mets.
Yeah. And I agree. And then you look at the body and the athleticism, another former two-way guy. But I look and they're different pitchers because Schwellenbach's so command oriented. But I think about the path and how Schwellenbach we saw the best version of Schwallenbach in the major leagues, right? Because two-way player in college, didn't throw a ton of innings, underwent Tommy John right around the same time in college, and then fast-tracked through the big or minor leagues because he was so good so quick. But then you saw the best version of him in the big leagues. It's almost identical with McLean path-wise. And I think that's why we're going to see the best of McLean at the highest level, because he's still learning how to pitch, period. He just stopped hitting in 2024. He was still de-aging and hitting bombs in 2024. It's going to be the thing that people bring up in 5 years when Nolan McLean's, throwing a shutout, in the playoffs or whatever. And people will be like, by the way, he used to hit. Like, here's a video of him going deep in Double-A. It's remarkable stuff. I think he's only going to get better. And it's really, really, really unique. And the reason why I'm so high on him is if a guy like him could succeed from a 5-foot release with those two fastballs, with the question of like, okay, well, where are the secondaries? They need to develop. We talked about like with Wu. Wu got more vert, but still, he has one of the best abilities to spin the baseball in pro baseball. So you have unique fastballs that he can attack you with and succeed with. And then, oh yeah, by the way, he also spins it better than everybody else as well. Between AAA and the big leagues last year, 24 starts. Opponents against his sinker and four-seamer. 178, 294, 274 slash line. It's a 568 OPS with a 65% ground ball rate. That's one of the best performing fastballs we got.
It's why we like, I mean, that fastball in particular, but like the arsenal as a whole. That's why we like Yamamoto. That's why we like Sanchez, like guys that are getting punch outs and ground balls. Like that's what makes the best pitchers in baseball. So you put all this in this big soup, and like that soup is going to taste like an all-star.
Yep. Because there's so many. When he's off, he's still going to survive, and I think that's. And when he's
on, he could no hit somebody.
Yeah. I can't wait. He should be runaway rookie of the year favorite, even though it's a hitter award. He should be runner. I know you got Weatherholt. We're going to talk about all that stuff. He should. Did he
maintain rookie eligibility?
Oh, they made sure of it. I think by the skin of his teeth, he did.
They did. Okay, good.
Yeah, and they made sure of it. And it's going to be fun to watch. I think we got a lot of fun rookie of the year candidates going into next year. You can find out where he's going to be on the top 100 list next week. That's going to come out early next week. We're just putting the finishing touches on that. But as you can tell by the future value grade, he's going to be quite high there. Any final thoughts on the Mets system, which again, I think is as loaded of a top 12 really as you got. But, obviously thinned out a little bit with their trades, but that they're going to reload with arms.
Can you hear me if I whisper?
Mm-hmm.
They can trade for Derek Scoble right now.
They could.
Yeah.
They could trade for Scoble right now, and it doesn't even have to be McLean. You can make it happen.
You're supposed to whisper that.
Sorry. That'll do it for this episode. We will check in with you guys next week.